Thank you.
Oh,
That's my walking around theme song.
man.
Visible for what? From what?
Yeah, tell him. Renders from the monsters, right? With the and I make a vague gesture that my hands are extending into swords.
From Flag? Mr. Flag? And
Yeah.
I believe that whatever connection that was, I believe whatever I'd found, yes, the spell had broken it. I can't sense it. You don't feel it. I can't see it on anything that I'm using to detect anything that's not on you. That's not supposed to be there. I can't find it. I can't find that tether. Whatever that little thing was that he had, it's broken for now.
So,
That's a plus.
Next step.
Next up now is one of my associates will be coming here tomorrow. You guys will. We need your guys' help and handle a cult group called the Chosen. The Chosen are a group that believe that they are the chosen.
Well,
they believe that they are the ones that are going to open an ancient portal that had once sealed the gates of hell.
That's all fine and good, but why tomorrow? If it's so urgent.
Well, he hasn't found what we need, and I need my guy in here so he can fill you all in. We can get you all up to speed, because he's already in the field. So I'm bringing him back to get you all up to speed, and then you guys will be going with him to help him in any shape, or form, and helping us stop them. And then we will all work towards trying to figure out how to deal with Mr. Flag and the Legion next. If the man
What are we
Black
supposed to do till tomorrow?
We are going to have dinner. You guys are welcome to stay at my abode for the night. Nick should
say
be
dinner?
here in the morning. Oh yeah. Don't worry. I got my people working on a real nice spread for the night. You guys are welcome to stay here, have dinner. You guys.
I'd like to do an insight check to see if this guy's like fucking frothing like feces out of his mouth right now. Like if he's just trying to kill.
That's a weird expression.
Yeah, no one just no one just makes you dinner. He's onto something. All right, insight. Shabadoo, shabadee. Check this out. Oh. Finger on the pulse. I can hear him sweat.
17.
Hold on, it's pretty good. We'll be back.
Tell me about this.
The insight check was good.
Sizing him up.
You're sizing him up, and he seems very forthright. You feel like you're feeling right now as though if he was like, he wouldn't have helped you or wouldn't have have shown any interest in you at his meeting, at the investment meeting.
Mm-hmm.
He seems very forthright in trying to recruit you on board to try to help in their cause, which you've seen right now. That there's more to the world than meets the eye. So you're all kind of, you guys are almost a little bit confused. But the answers that he's offering are at least bringing some sort of understanding into some things none of you have any understanding of.
Okay, but like, is he fixing to stab us in the ass?
From what you can tell, no. He's just being very, very friendly, as you would say. You're not getting any sense of that that like a knife is imminent into the back.
Okay.
For right now, I mean, you rolled pretty good.
Okay.
He's not. The expression, like when you're looking at his facial expression and his body language, like he's just like, I think he's hitting you guys with a lot of information, and he's being very forthcoming, and it's kind of weird especially for you.
Right.
So it's odd.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't think you've seen people as forthright with certain things as he is. But
okay. All right.
But
sufficient.
Yeah, you're feeling like you could feel that maybe this is maybe a little too good to be true, but it could. It could be, but you're not getting a sense that like, all right, there's something wrong. You're not getting that vibe. You're getting like, you're feeling confident enough that like, okay,
Mm.
maybe he's just that forthcoming. Maybe what you guys have given him and what you have shown is that there's more out there that he even didn't know about. So,
Okay.
but him offering the right answers to some of your guys' questions
Swag.
does calm you some, because it's giving you some sort of an understanding which Bert has no idea.
Okay.
And because all the stuff you all have seen in the last several days is way beyond anyone's understanding.
Okay.
So you're feeling confident. You're feeling good right now.
Sure.
But Bert would be still on his toes anyway, regardless, because it does seem a little too good to be true.
Sure.
But you're feeling pretty good.
Makes no sense.
We are.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Wow.
So here
yeah, I look at the wizard and it's like, cool. Okay, and then I move to leave the room.
He's like, follow me. I'll give you a brief tour of the house while dinner is being finished up.
Okay, I'll follow him.
You guys all gonna follow?
I mean, I might as well.
I'm assuming Mom's gonna be in the back.
Who's this guy?
I'll be being hurt.
Who's this guy?
That is David. One of you guys remember him? David was the guy that opened the door.
Yeah.
You guys in?
Oh yeah.
David's like, oh, this is FBL.
Can I insight him as he's walking past? I want to know if he's like gonna plant a plastic explosive on the
Oh
balcony
my
or something.
god.
Go for an insight check.
Okay,
Evan,
I want to see if he's.
Evan goes,
I want to see if he's walking like he has a block of C4 up his ass. 18.
Jesus Christ.
I can see up his colon. I know what he ate for dinner last night.
You don't see any sort of plastic explosive.
All right, that's fine. I'll let it
Evan goes
ride.
by and he goes, David's one of my personal security guys. Kind of just monitors the house when I'm gone. As you guys, so he takes you on a tour. You guys get to see, like, there's a big living space. You're seeing like a 70-inch TV, some speakers, a bunch of couches, tables. In this area, he's taking you on a tour. Like, here's like a covered veranda, and outside the veranda, there's the backyard back here. You see like a really nice indoor pool, in-ground pool. You're seeing a spa. You're seeing a hot tub. You're seeing all kinds of shit out there. He kind of takes you around the boat. You go into like a breakfast place. You're going to like a family room. There's a big fireplace. Another bunch of TVs. You see an outdoor living space up there. He then takes you. He points down to a hallway and he goes, "That's my master bedroom past the study." But he takes you all upstairs.
Why do you need all this house for yourself?
Well, this was actually my family's house at the time.
Big family?
Not necessarily. A lot of relatives. And both grandparents and mom, dad, older sister. And you kind of remember that most of them were killed in the attack on the estate many years ago. So he takes you all upstairs and you guys see a game room where you see another big TV with a bar. You're seeing a bunch of speakers.
Nice Xbox.
You see like a couple different game consoles there. You see another like room, and he kind of takes you through really briefly. It's like a movie theater. It's got movie theater seating and a big projected screen. And he's
Can I see like if there's any movie discs? Like,
roll,
what's he watching?
Roll a perception check.
What's he watching? Yeah. Hey! What movies is he watching, dog?
You see the Has Fallen movies on there.
Oh.
You see Olympus Has Fallen is currently boxes out.
Of course.
You're seeing a variety of different films, like all different categories. Nothing like it's only like your general box office, like what's the movies like now. You see a couple of like Avengers movies out there too. Like you're seeing all kinds of movies. Like it crosses every different spectrum of comedy, action, all that kind of stuff. It's nothing like stands out, but it's just like it's got a very nice
Man of culture.
Yeah. Man of culture. You guys walk out of the theater room. And
My only natural 20 of the night, by the way.
So,
Calling you
he
right
kind
now.
of takes you guys to the second floor. He shows you each of the bedrooms that he has available, and he's got 4 bedrooms upstairs currently that each have their own bathroom and shower. And he says you guys can pick your room assignments later. But the house looks in great order. You do meet some more of the staff as you're going down the stairs back to the main hallway, which is this foyer.
Mm-hmm.
You happen to see one of the butlers comes by.
Mm-hmm.
He introduces himself as, my name is Jared Livingston. Just kind of says hello as he's carrying like a bunch of towels.
Yeah,
like,
a wave.
He was getting the bathrooms and making sure that like, everything was ready for you all for whatever you needed it to be done.
Right.
Essentially,
Right.
was what he was doing. And Evan kind of greets him and says, "Hey, Jared, how's it going?" You know, the usual banter.
Yeah.
But you guys are walking by the kitchen, and you guys are starting to get the smell of something real good's cooking. You're smelling some good food.
Smells like a Cobb salad.
What kind of meat am I smelling right now? Is it just like a mix of...
Check.
Alright.
I'm gonna roll one
Don't
too. I
fail
want to
me now.
determine if it smells like a Cobb salad.
Oh, so close to another natural 20. 6.
You got another fucking natural 20.
Fuck.
You guys are smelling a variety of things. It's like, you guys can't pinpoint anything, but it smells pretty good.
Yeah.
So as you guys enter the dining hall,
Now stop.
it's a huge dining room table. It's got like, it's real wood as you're walking in. It's got the chairs look elaborate, really decorated. And there's a lot of seating, and you're seeing like a bunch of like silver trays for platters to be set. And there's like glasses of wine, pitchers of water, and a man walks in just behind you and goes, "How's it going, Evan?" Evan turns around and he goes, "Oh, Patrick, perfect timing." He's like, "Patrick, this is the group here," and he points you out. He goes, "One by one, this is Bert, this is Patrick," and he kind of introduces you all. And he goes, "Patrick's my other guy that's kind of watches security around the house and just takes care of the house while I'm gone. And if I need like any chauffeuring, Patrick's really good about taking care of that for me." And when you guys see Patrick, like he's pretty tall. Like he's taller than all of you, and he's probably about like 6'6". He's in great shape. He's really fit. Like even though he's in like a tux, you can definitely tell like he's in very good shape. As he kind of like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back to doing what I was doing, but I'll be in shortly." And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty for you." As he kind of steps out, because apparently he's like, "Yeah, Patrick was working on one of the his car is having some issues, so we got one of my buddies to bring some tools and having Patrick take a look at it. I wasn't sure some of the transmission he thinks."
You know, Bert, I'm sure you can help with.
I don't know if any of you know cars, but if you know cars, Patrick's looking for help. Like, he's doing pretty well for
Damn.
Thing, but
Yeah, I just realized.
Tips to help him, go for it. Garage is right around the corner, but yeah, he's been at it for a while back there, man. It's been
I'm
a lot of work.
afraid.
I can tell you that.
I'm afraid cars are outside my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Actually, I think it would be more of Lana's wheelhouse, but I don't know.
That was a joke.
Oh.
So he kind of walks through and he kind of offers, "What do you guys like to drink?" Take a seat, and you guys take a start.
Oh, you
guys can
get
send
it,
yourselves around.
right? With the wheels.
Yes, with the wheels.
Yeah, I look at Jameson and I said, "You get it, right?"
I just like give him this long stare. You know, I can really use something strong right now, actually.
So Evan kind of walks over here and he's behind you, and there's a big drink bar. And he goes, "You can order something what's on the table?" He's like, "Behind me, I got a bunch of different stuff. You want a beer? I can get you a bunch of different He's got a bunch of different whiskeys, rums, vodkas. You're seeing all sorts of liquor behind you." He goes, "Whatever you like,
gee,
let me know."
that's-
And as you're kind of gandering, you're like, "Ooh, there's a lot of good choices."
It's real kind of you. Thank you. Huh.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking got it. Got everything.
Yeah. He's kind of like pulling it up so you can see it, take a look at it. You're kind of giving some of the liquors a sniff, and you're like, you're seeing some pretty expensive stuff that some of the bottles he's looking at.
Interesting.
You guys hear a couple of things fall, and you hear someone go, "God damn it!"
Everything all right?
David goes over and he goes, "Pat, what's going on there?" It's like I slammed, like the ratchet got stuck and it fucking dropped and cracked my hand.
Oh.
He goes, he's alright. Just couldn't fit his big hand in tiny spaces apparently. And big chuckle as he walks in there and he goes, "Alright, Pat, let me take a look."
Can I do a perception check to ensure that Pat is indeed alright?
He is around the corner. You'd have to walk outside the dining hall to go check him in the garage.
Oh, fuck that disease. Never mind.
You just hear the banter of two guys like kind of just chirping each other, just kind of giving each other some heckling each other a little bit. All good stuff. You're hearing a little bit of laughs in there. So as you guys then grab your drinks, you guys pick whichever you like, and Evan kind of sits down at the end and goes, and then one of the servants comes in and you see like 3 of them all coming all at once, all carrying trays of various chicken. You guys see some steaks. Here comes like mashed potatoes, some gravy, a bunch of salads, salad fixins, and the whole 9 yards is just brought. All little trips back and forth. And there's a variety of like different vegetables, meats, breads. Like you're seeing like a full on like 6-course meal is just thrown right in front of you. And actually, like everybody sits down all at once. Like even like it's really weird to see that your servants, like the workers of the house, are actually all sitting with like the guests and the owners, like all at the same table. They all sit down and like you all start digging at the same time. Like the vibe you're getting is that this is not like a very typical rich house or rich atmosphere. Like everybody's on the same plane. Like the way Evan treats the staff, like the people that you see in the interactions, it's not like he stands like he's like above them. Like he kind of treats them very equally and very fairly. Is what you're seeing right now. But you guys are all sitting there. You guys are exchanging some banter with David, and Jared says a few things. Aaron, who you guys didn't see, was feverishly working in the kitchen, as you can tell. As he was like one of the first guys to start bringing in food. But yeah, you're seeing like they're talking about all sorts of stuff, like the latest news, sports. Like it goes around. You guys are all exchanging like, what have you been doing? Just kind of everyone kind of get to know you guys a little bit. Because from what it sounds like, what the vibe they're getting is that they'll be seeing you kind of sort of regularly.
Yeah.
That's what the vibe they're getting from Mr. Catsby, anyway. So the food's wonderful. The company is great. Like it's a different change of pace, especially for what you all have been through the last few days. So it's a good feeling. But so you guys all finish eating, and everyone starts like you see like those staff starts getting up, and they all start going back to like they're starting to pick up the plates, clean up, and Evan goes, "If you guys can have the night to yourselves, whatever you'd like to do, just like." My house is open for you. You guys can go watch a few movies in the theater, go play some games in the game room upstairs. If you guys just want to go to your bedrooms and crash, go for it. He's like, Nick should be here. He kind of looks at a watch on his wrist and he goes, he should be here about 10 o'clock or so, 10:30, maybe 11. I don't know. It's going to be a couple hours for him to get back here, but he did say he'd be here in the morning. So when he gets here, we'll all sit down. We'll fill Nick in on what's going on, which you guys have brought to our attention. We will also then get you up to speed about the Chosen, about what's going on with them. We gotta give you guys a really good idea of what we're about and what's the next plan here. So tonight is yours. I gotta make some more phone calls because you guys have got me really wondering. What do I not know about this Walter, and what should I be kind of figuring out now?
Yeah, apparently it is a lot.
It is a lot indeed. And he excuses himself and he walks out and you see the staff have all like started to disappear. Like they're doing their thing now. Everyone's picking up, and
Yeah.
the two guys say, "All right, let's go get this car another round." David's like, "All right, Patrick, just watch how the master does it." And he goes, "Yeah, right." As Patrick's following him out.
Those rascals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna crash. I'm just gonna crash upstairs. I'm gonna sleep. I want to pass time as quickly as possible because there are bad dudes afoot, and I cannot play foosball knowing that we are being hunted by the T-1000. So
You can
I'm
pick bedrooms 2 to 4 on this other side of the map over here. Whatever you like.
other side of the map.
Oh, you have to go up the stairs. Up that
Oh
staircase.
boy. Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Up the stairs.
And then on this map,
One
you
and
are
a-
right here.
Hell yeah. Hell
Now-
yeah.
Now you're on the second floor.
Oh, it's Bart. Oh,
Out of my way.
fucking hell.
Yeah, you,
Out of my way.
Out of my way.
Fuck Jameson.
are you following them upstairs?
Are these the bedrooms?
I'm gonna go upstairs.
Yeah, I think these are the bedrooms.
You
Yeah.
got,
I'm
the
going
bedrooms are
I'm
one
going to
right
bedroom.
there, right there, right there.
Where's bedroom 1?
I'm in
That
bedroom
is the
4.
master bedroom.
Oh, it's just a master bedroom.
I want that one.
He gets 4. Alana, Glitch, you see the same thing. You see Jameson and Bert racing each other to get up the staircase to pick the first bedroom.
Yeah. I'm like, Jameson, I'm going to get the bedroom.
Oh, yeah, nah, this is
pick
my
the
bedroom.
crashes,
It's out here
Alana's
first.
gonna go to bed 5.
I got top bunk.
I got here first.
If you guys want to have a roll off, both of you roll a d20
Let's do it.
for bedroom 4. Glitch, you got bedrooms 2 and 3 available at the moment.
Let's do it, Bert, right now.
Alright.
Looks like I'm pulling into myself.
I'm going to throw down.
Alright, ready?
You each have your own bedrooms to yourselves.
Alright, what are we rolling for bedroom 4?
Roll a d20.
Okay,
There's no way.
flip.
Ah, that's so bad.
Bert wins. Bert.
Ah.
Bert
Alright,
wins.
Bert.
Whatever. Maybe you guys play like a bunch of like rock paper scissors or something for it. Jameson,
I tell
you do lose.
Jameson.
Best out of 3?
Yeah, I tell Jameson.
You want to do a best of 3? We can roll 2 more.
Best out of 3.
Go ahead, go for it. Best of 3. We'll have a d20 roll off as our rock paper scissors.
No.
Alright, I see you. I see you, Bert.
I'll sleep here. You sleep down there. Yeah.
Nah, best out of 3 right now.
Nope.
Alright, you sneeze and lose. Alright.
Yeah. I locked the door and I deadbolt it.
I was thinking about the empty ones.
Yeah, there you go. So you go ahead and find an empty one. So you guys all bed down and unwind. And you guys get a long night's rest. You guys start to slowly wake up in the morning, and the beds were very comfortable. It's probably the best night's sleep some of you have had in days, maybe a long.
Yeah. Definitely for me.
You all slowly arise to the smell of breakfast. You smell some food again being cooked. You smell something's cooking downstairs. So, gang, the day is yours, or the morning is yours. For right now, as your star will just start to slowly stir out of bed.
Sweet. Well, I'm just gonna use the bathroom every morning.
Yeah, I sense there's evil afoot, so I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna splash my teeth, brush my face, and I'm ready for the I'm ready to start the fucking day, man. We gotta go find these bad guys. Gotta go see this associate. Did you just round right past me?
I really did.
I go, oh.
Lana looks at both of you and just kind of shakes her head in disgust as she walks down the stairs.
Gonna run past Jameson too. Like we're racing now. We're like kids
Yeah.
in like a big play.
Literally on Christmas morning.
You're watching Jameson and Bert race each other down the spiral staircase.
We're watching Denzel Washington and a homeless dude
So you
fucking
guys-
right downstairs.
Just fucking pushing each other down the
So you
stairs.
guys would be right
Hell
here.
yeah!
Or the other
I don't
guy
even know what's at stake.
So you guys would be right here now, at the bottom of the
Oh,
spiral
yeah.
stairs. And you all walk by, and Evan's the first one to greet you, and he steps out. He looks over in the living room. He's like, "You guys get a good night's rest?" As he kind of
Oh, yeah.
put down.
No,
No?
I'm lying.
He has terrible jokes. You'll get used to it.
Okay. He's like, breakfast will be ready. Breakfast will be ready shortly. Go ahead and just make yourselves at home, and here, make yourself comfortable here, or you guys can go. We will have breakfast in a different by the family room today. That table you guys saw in the room, just it kind of points to the other side of the wall that way.
Understood.
Continental breakfast.
He's like, you'll have the. Oh, if you guys want anything special, just let them know. They didn't know they're making the scrambled eggs, the pancakes, the waffles, the usual stuff like that. If you guys have anything like special that you want done, just go ahead and you can let them all know, and they'll take care of you.
Well, don't want to be high maintenance.
Appreciate it.
Ah, it's the least I can do. And he goes, and he kind of like he looks at the book and he looks at his phone. And he's like, I gotta make a couple quick phone calls, but I will meet you guys in the night breakfast room shortly. As he see him start to tinker with his phone again, and he kind of walks like towards towards the window, and he's like, you can see he's trying to get a hold of somebody at the time. And you hear two guys talking in the hallway as you all start to walk down it. You see David and Patrick are both like up and at it, and they're like, well, at least we figured that out.
You guys got your car fixed?
Oh yeah, well, it wasn't it was like a couple. There's something with the piston. Actually, it wasn't the transmission like that we'd first figured. But yeah, we got it all set straight. Took a long fucking time though.
Well, at least it's done.
We're not car guys. We just didn't feel like trying to tow that vehicle all the way over.
Yeah, get that.
And they're both. It looks like they both have been at it a long time. They're both a little tired this morning.
Hey, the guy who just went to go take a phone call. Like, what's his name?
Evan, Mr. Cat.
Evan.
So he is the owner of the estate that you are in, or his family owns the estate.
Hey, Evan. Before you make that phone call,
go ahead.
Can I borrow your phone for a sec? Mine's dead. I just have to call a friend of mine.
Hell yeah.
Evan kind of looks and he goes, He says, nah, I don't need to play no tricks, Mr. Ross.
Oh, tricks. No, I mean nothing like that. I just need to make a quick phone call.
He takes a look down the hall. He's like, I know who you are, what you do.
No, I mean,
no need to
that may be true, but I mean, the fact of the matter is my phone's dead, and I need to make a call.
What friends do you have left? Shall we take
wow.
Shall we take a look down that list for a minute?
What the hell? Fuck. I have someone else. Fuck you.
I was gonna ring my my friend Lana. Make sure,
Lana's
she's okay.
Here.
Yeah, but like she's not here in the room right now. As I look around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she left.
It's a super compelling argument, though. She isn't in the room.
I think she left. I just want to make sure she's okay. I didn't.
He points. He points towards like this little cabinet there. He's like, you can use the landline. It's right there. If she left.
Okay. Yeah, landline works too. All right. Fair enough.
Hey, yes,
alright.
Mark? Yes, Mark. It's Evan. How are you doing today? And he goes, sorry, I gotta take this. He's like, the landline's right there. If you want to use that.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
So you walk over to the desk and you see the landline. You say like a normal.
It's a fucking rotary dial.
God damn it. Forever.
You tell you, it's like a decoration phone.
It's a real landline.
Home goods ass. Rotary phone.
Fuck you, Evan. I knew this guy was.
Yeah, Glitch. Like when he says that, you feel as though he has done his homework about all.
Well, like, you know, I'm definitely gonna pick up the landline and like enter like a random number and like.
Okay. So what are you trying to do?
Let's see, I'm gonna call Lana on her phone.
You're gonna call Lana? Okay.
Yep.
You hear the phone ringing in the hallway. Lana answers it. Hello.
Hey, Lana. Did you go out to the store or something? I was just, you know, I wasn't sure where you were.
I'm in the hallway walking towards the breakfast room. At the moment.
Oh, okay.
Background,
Never mind. Yeah, if you're out and about, I was just wondering if you give me some more Mountain Dew kickstarts, but you know. But you're here, so it's all good. I'll see you in a sec. Hang up.
Okay. Lana just hangs up, doesn't say anything else. The two guys are walking
Okay.
towards the smell of the
man.
breakfast food. Are you three gonna follow them in?
Yeah, might as well.
Sure,
I'm
why
hungry.
not?
Okay.
Fucking hungry. I want to like make sure Bert doesn't get anything good.
Oh my god.
Take all the good things, you
Oh
know.
my god.
You guys
Fuck
are
By the way,
Okay.
like every single day of this campaign, we've been eating like fucking royalty. Like,
You really have. It's kind of insane.
Glitch,
yeah,
you,
can I
you
get
start to
some-
slowly walk your way. Go ahead and just
can I
kind
get
of
some
just sit.
temporary hit points for a big breakfast? I'm gonna start the day right.
We actually haven't started eating yet, but
Okay, well
possibly.
I start putting food in my mouth. How many temporary hit points do I get?
You're gonna start jamming your head.
Fucking hell, Bert.
Overshield.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me have a little fun here.
I want my biscuits and gravy over shield.
Okay.
30 hit point overshield.
All right,
Please.
we'll talk about that in a few minutes, shall we?
I eat a really good breakfast, so I start no selling bullets. Yeah.
Yep. We can make
Hell
some
yeah.
out. So, a few minutes pass. You guys, if you guys order anything special, Jared says, "Hey, if you guys like anything else, anything special, what's already on the table, let us know." And it's like you guys are sitting at an open bar countertop here,
Mm-hmm.
and like an open or like just an open door where you can walk right through. There's no door that separates the kitchen from this room. But you guys are seeing toast, scrambled eggs, hash browns. You're seeing
Hell yeah.
bacon, sausage, like the usual stuff you'd see.
Mm-hmm.
And you see one of the Dawn comes over with a plate, and it's got like an omelet and some other small some white toast in it, and she hands it right to Evan at just like on Evan's part of the table,
Mm-hmm.
and then she walks on back. And he goes, Nick should be here. As Evan looks at his watch, he should be here in like 40 minutes or so. So have something nice to eat. Though Nick can wait a few minutes. He's been driving for hours.
Right.
Any questions for me as we wait for his arrival? Or for us, I should say, because David and Patrick are all sitting at the table with you. There's like all 6 of you are all kind of just sitting down eating breakfast at the table.
How long have you guys been up?
The boys?
Yeah.
Pretty much all night. I think I got probably 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep maybe at most.
Well, hey, work's gotta be done, right?
Hey, that car's fixed. I don't have to call my buddy to see if he can try to tow it. Bring it to the
Yeah,
shop. Do it yourself,
that's
man.
plus.
A lot of those garages, man, they rip you off in prices. He's like, I've always been a do it myself, kind of learning. I want to pick up like some little trades so I can do most of the servicing. That, though, however, I definitely could have had someone take a look at. But they would have handed me a bill of $800 and been like, oh yeah, it took me 20 minutes, but here's an $800 bill for fixing the car.
Look it up.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. Like, look over to Lana, who's probably like steaming right now.
Lana's actually kind of just composed. She's kind of being quiet because she's like observing and she's listening. Just trying to get like, a feel for the environment.
Understood.
She's not chiming in too much at the moment.
So we got the composed one, the one that's stuffing their face, and the late one. Fucking hell.
You guys are looking at Bert. He's just plate after plate stuff in his face.
That's just like,
I'm balling hard.
If there was a
Gotta-
Guinness World Record for how many plates of food you can dump down your gullet, Bert's going for it right now.
I got my cheeks full of hash browns. I'm like, right.
And honestly, none of the people bat an eye. Like some of the servants come sit. They sit in shifts at the breakfast table as well. And everyone just it's all business as usual. No one's looking at like is like horrified at Bert.
Why would they be horrified?
what do you mean? Why would they be
At the way you're stuffing
Trying to
down
be.
food and eating like pretty uncivil at times with some of the stuff you've been doing. No one prides any mind.
Eating, dog.
Going feral right now on this food.
Bert's seen more food in the last several days than he's probably seen in a long time.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And
Hey man, gotta milk the cow until it stops, huh? Until it's out.
I'm just trying to be.
He wants to be as tanky as possible.
Uh,
So that way his
Focus
body can
shield.
start reflecting bullets, maybe like Krieger does. We'll see.
That's right.
That's what he's trying to be. He's trying to figure out a way to how to beat him right now.
Best
how to beat him, arch
How
nemesis.
to beat
You know
him.
Krieger's weakness is? He doesn't eat breakfast.
And you guys hear you hear a ring at the doorbell? And David goes, it's probably Nick, right? Evan goes, yeah, it should be him. David's like, I'll be right back. David goes for a few minutes. Couple minutes go by, Evan's just, you see Evan's kind of like just looking over and just kind of just studying you guys a little bit and making sure everything's on the up and up. Asking, like, the usual questions, how is everything? All that normal stuff. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. But can I just scale down the mini size, please? Thank you. Still too big. There we go. A couple more minutes go by. David comes back with a man right behind him. As he steps into the room, he's got a dark black like leather jacket on. He's got blue jeans. He's got dark black boots. He's got a couple of scars on his face that look older, but you're seeing he's got like a cut on the bridge of his nose from. It looks kind of fresh. But he's got short dark black hair. He's pretty clean shaven. As he steps over and everyone goes, impeccable timing, Nick. Impeccable indeed.
You must be Nick.
Nick kind of looks over and goes, Nick, I'd like you to meet the group I was telling you about on the phone last night, and he kind of just goes around. So that's Jameson right there. He points towards you, Jameson. This is Jameson. Nick kind of walks over and kind of gives you a very firm handshake, and you can see like as he shakes your hand, you see a couple of small scars on the on his side of the opposite side of the hand that you can see. It's visible when you shake his hand. He's got a very firm, strong grip.
Good grip.
He stands a little smaller than you, but he's definitely like stockier than you for sure. And Glitch, he goes up to you next, and Evan goes, "That's Glitch."
For roll a d4.
Glitch, he shakes your hand, and the grip is really tight for you, and you're like, you weren't expecting like him to like squeeze your hand that hard.
Oh, just make me able to fist bump next time.
That he just kind of gives you a little look and just kind of like gives a little nod, and he gives the same to Lana, same to Bert, same thing.
Oh, does it shake my hand?
He shakes your hand. It's the same
Oh,
for
yeah,
everybody. He goes and shakes each one of your hands, introduces himself. My name's Nick Bauer. Blah, blah,
Is he overcompensating with a super firm grip?
No. Bert, when you're studying him, he's probably like 5'10", 5'11", but yeah, he's definitely in some shape, and you can see some of these scars that he carries, and you can definitely tell he's been through some shit. And he goes,
Shakes my hand. I tell him, for the job.
Sorry, hey guys.
Long time of service to this beautiful nation. Does come with its perks, and does come with a lot of the downsides.
Is alright.
So,
I know well.
Nick, are you hungry? And Nick goes, I'm good. And he goes, well, you guys ready to follow us? Everyone had their breakfast?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Alright. David and Patrick will be upstairs if you need anything, Evan. He goes, absolutely, boys. You guys step over. They step out. The staff is cleaning up the table, and you see Evan walk towards this grand piano that's like a little bit towards like this window here, and he sits down at it, and he goes, have a seat for a minute. You guys all stand, and Nick's kind of just looking at the fireplace and just kind of admiring, just kind of like stretching. Looks like he may, like the stretches he's doing looks like he may have been in a vehicle for a couple hours. So he's kind of like just
Right.
getting his body back to normal. And Evan starts playing some keys on the keyboard, or on the grand piano, and it sounds in tune. And he plays it a little bit, and then you guys hear you hear he stops as he hits a final key, and a bookcase that's here. There's several bookcases in this room. You see you guys hear a faint click, and Nick walks over and pushes the bookcase open. And there, you guys see a entry to a room, or entry to something. And he goes, follow us down here. Evan leads the way, and so you guys follow them as Nick pushes the bookcase open, and you can see Nick start to disappear a little bit. Sounds like he's walking downstairs.
Even more interesting.
So Jameson, you're gonna follow?
Yep.
Okay. You all gonna follow suit?
Yeah.
Fall.
Okay. You guys all get in line. So you guys all get into it's a stairwell. It goes down. As you all start to step in it, the lights start to turn on down this. It's a decently long staircase. It's like probably 40 steps down. As soon as you get in, Nick, there's like all of a sudden, like, Nick's behind you guys for a second, but then, like, Evan snaps his fingers and the door starts to close. You see the bookshelf starts to turn back in, and you guys hear a tink. As and then all the lights start coming down the stairwell. You guys see a door. Evan takes you into. You guys are now in a. Can I unlock this board, please? I don't have the map drawn out today. I am currently working on it. But as he opens the door, you guys all walk into this big space. So I like to imagine you guys kind of like. You walk into this big room. There's a huge table, bunch of like meeting chairs. You guys are looking around the room. It looks like a small bunker.
Really?
You see a room with you seeing like 8 TV monitors, a big master computer. You're seeing some smaller desk spaces with a bunch of different maps and papers and all kinds of stuff. A bunch of different computers. You're seeing a few different phones. Like you're seeing like almost like a command center is down here. And Evan goes, have a seat. As he kind of points to you anywhere around the table. As Evan walks over towards like this big computer panel, and he starts like typing in on the monitors. The monitors are all black, like they're all off, and they turn on, and you can see him starting to pull up like certain materials and stuff like that at the moment. Nick is kind of packed the seat kind of closest to like the computers. So hold on, let me see. Okay, let me draw a little table here. So here. For brevity's sake, there's there you go. There's all the empty seats you can pick. So grab a seat.
Which one's good? Bert?
So I will tell you this: the computer monitors and stuff, it's all this way.
Which one's
Bert? While Evan is currently bringing up stuff on the computer.
I'm gonna sit on this side. And we
Yeah.
sit. That's Bert. That's Bert right
Yeah.
there. That's Bert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I took this seat too.
Oh my god.
I took this seat too. Yeah.
Hell
Exactly.
yeah! When I sit down, I'm gonna hold up my
Glitch, go
hand
ahead
for a
and,
fist
pick
for
your
a
speed on
fist
the
bump
table
at
here.
Jameson.
There's plenty of open space on the table.
Uh-huh.
You gonna bump that fist?
Yeah, sure, I'll bump it.
Get that knuckle dusted? Hell yeah! And after I bump your fist, I'm gonna reach like over the table. I'm gonna like extend the same knuckle bump to Lana on that
I'm
end.
just gonna look at you and be like, get it out of here.
That
Okay.
hurts. Yikes, that hurts.
Okay.
Glitch, where would you like to sit at the table? Did Christian step away for a second?
Yeah, might have.
Might have. Okay, I'll just put him.
Oh, you can just sit next to me and
I'll
I'll
just
fist
sit him
bump
by you
him.
guys. Figure that's probably where you'd be anyway, right around.
Yeah, I'll fist bump him.
Yeah, Evan's typing away at the keyboard. He starts pulling up like different images and stuff like that. And he goes, here we go. Just what I was looking for. So, and you guys see you're seeing a few different pictures on the screen. You're seeing like a couple of newspaper articles. You actually see like one that's pulled up at the second, but you see that he's got multiple out there that he's kind of like put aside. And you see a photo of a man that he pulls up as well. So let me pull up the photo and put it on the table here. Okay. You guys can go ahead and have a small conversation about really quick as Evan's finishing pulling this up for you.
I look at her and go, why are you fist bumping people?
Oh, you know, yeah, kind of for camaraderie.
Morale?
Yeah.
I just stare at clueless bro, slightly froed, just like shaking my head slowly, like, no sense.
Mm. Is there anything to like drink, like water? Is there a cup of water on the table?
Yeah, there's a couple pitchers of water on the table.
Boom.
Glasses there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking grab me a glass of water.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sit down and drink that water.
Everything is normal and fine about the water.
How do the chairs feel? The chairs like
The chairs are very comfortable. Like there's like some very nice like office chairs. Like not like they're definitely higher end is what you're getting. They're very comfortable to sit in. They have like they can be moved a little bit as well. But it's very comfortable.
Oh, swivel chairs.
You can swivel in the chair. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Alright, y'all.
No experience.
He kind of turns. He's like, here you go. So the chosen. He's like, do you see this individual here? I'm gonna pull it right here, just so you can see it. He kind of pulls it up on a big projection, so you guys can all see him.
Huh.
This man, his name is Edric King. For what we have gathered, he is the man in charge of the chosen. So a little more in depth of who they chosen are. The nickname that they've picked themselves is that they feel, or at least Edric feels, that he's the one that is finally going to be able to open an ancient portal that was sealed off eons ago. That was the portal that allows the gates of hell to be reopened and unleashed to Earth, this dimension.
Why the hell would you do that?
Well, when you're convinced and want ultimate power and want to make a substantial impact, why not be the one that starts the chaos?
Yeah, but you can also make an impact by volunteering in your community.
He goes, yeah, you could.
I agree.
You could.
I think you can.
but some don't see it that way, Bert. There's others out there that want to make something of themselves. So a little bit about Edric. He was an aspiring actor at one point. He did a lot of like Broadway shows in New York City, and he's done like some like movie. Like he had some decent gigs. The guy just couldn't make it. He couldn't make it big time. And then a newspaper article comes up. This happened at a New York supermarket at a deli 6 years ago. A man had walked into the supermarket and had several bladed weapons. Had a couple of axes and some knives, and he went on a murdering spree in the store. Edric had eventually found the man, had confronted him, and a fight ensued, in which Edric eventually overpowered and killed the attacker, killed the man.
Interesting.
And he was labeled as a hero. He saved many people's lives. Like witnesses saw, like even his statement was that he heard the screams and started to run towards the screams and the yelling, and he saw people running. He saw a woman was defending a little child, a little girl, as the man was walking towards. So Edric had found the nearest thing that he could use as a weapon and confronted and stepped like in between. The man had turned and they got into a fight. And eventually he overpowered him, but have had to kill him in self-defense to save. He was labeled as a hero in the store that day. So as like police got there and the scene was settled in, there were witnesses that saw Edric like when he was like looking at the man, kind of looking with like a sense of recognition, as one said. And Edric started to root through the man's pockets to see if he can figure out like if the guy was like on anything, or was just looking to see. And I found the man's wallet, opened up the license, and one of the witnesses that saw him going through the license and checking out who the man was, it's like, how could the voice was right? How did it know? How could the voice have predicted that this guy was going to do this today?
What?
Was one of the witnesses said that Edric was saying. Edric gave his statement. The police obviously, it was a good Samaritan ruling, and nothing. He wasn't going to be charged anything. He saved a lot of people in there. Eventually, the day after is where this gets interesting. Edric had disappeared from New York City that day. The day after. No one could ever find him. His co-workers, friends, family. It was as though he fell off the planet. Never been heard from again to this day. But we've been tracking him after strange and brutal killings and abductions have been started in various towns and cities across the United States. And guess who is always around those same places? And he starts pulling up images from various cameras and feeds of Edric, with some people following him around. And you can see them kind of casing out places, studying people in certain places, and like certain like public places where you'd see a lot of like trying to get a feel for everybody. In several places, like in one of the towns, you see a small town, Kensington, in Georgia. You see Edric and his people. There's like a small feed where you can see them kind of following this group of people around the city, like around the town. And eventually, later that night, they were all found brutally murdered. Evan shows photos from the crime scene. 5 of them. 2 men, 3 women. And you can see there's all sorts of weird ritual drawings and symbols written in blood. The victims' bloods. On certain of these walls, and you're seeing a little bit of the crime scenes. And he pulls up a map. And you start seeing blips in various states, all heading west, across the country. And we believe this is his work. So, I believe that whoever the voice is maybe it's just some inner voice in his head. I don't know. But whatever he's doing, he's trying to reopen the portals from what I've been able to gather from crime scene photos and certain glyphs and understanding a little bit of the language that he's doing these rituals in. Whoever he has a connection to, is probably promising him some sort of ultimate power. Maybe an overseer of the new world. So let's say Hell gets out, maybe the voice, maybe whatever devil it is, has promised that he gets like some sort of like a portion of the world to himself, or whatever the promise is. It's power.
Mm.
But Edric knows that he needs a key. And Nick, he kind of points over to Nick. Nick goes, yeah, so what I can gather, the Chosen are on a quest to find the key. From what I've been able to gather so far, the key is a child. Someone that has powers that they don't know exist, or maybe a legacy. It's some sort of power, apparently, is what the Chosen call it. That he has the power to open the portal again and allow the gates of hell to be unleashed, and so hell then could bring itself back to this plane. But I have no idea who the child is. I can tell you is that they haven't found him yet, or her yet, whoever it may be, but we need to be looking for it just like they are. Because if he gets that key, all he's got to do then is figure out the ritual spot, or wherever they need to go to open the portal, where the portal was banished. Many, many, many years ago. And Evan goes, that's where you guys come in. Help us out with this. Help us out. Try to stop Edric. And then we can start to look at Mr. Flag and his followers are next. I remember what you guys have said. I filled in Nick with some of the details. But he's like, we'll finish this first, then we'll go on to the Walter Flag situation. Nick kind of chimes up and goes, the Chosen, from what I've gathered, are a decent-sized following. I'm saying probably about 100 followers or so, at least. As I've encountered some already. They're some people that you would never have expected to be who they really are. But they have violent tendencies, just like their leader has shown. And they are true believers that once they help Edric achieve his goal, they will be given some sort of reward for doing so. They're feeling that their ship has come in, that Edric is the key to having success. So they're going to make sure they do whatever they can to help him achieve his goal. So that way they get whatever he may have promised, or the voice has promised his followers, whatever it may be. That same thing. So like I said again, the key is the child. That's all I've been able to gather so far. I can tell you that the child I have that is apparently not in Los Angeles. They've been here, which is where I've had my couple of encounters with some of them. They're hard to spot, and then Evan's kind of typing away, and you're seeing like some like shots of some people, and you see like a small symbol that's kind of highlighted in the camera, like on the photograph that's taken, and you actually can't see it until Evans zooms in and he kind of like enhances and does a couple things, and you can see there's like a hidden symbol on the left side of their neck. It has like it looks kind of like this. I'm gonna draw it out. Draw it in red. It looks something like this. You see 2 lines. You see a dot here, a dot here, and it's in a little circle. And you actually it can't. So when he unenhances the screenshot, you don't see that. You don't see the symbol. But then when he does a couple of things to the imagery, you then see the symbol in dark red. And he shows you the two different comparisons, and you actually can't see the in the regular photos and the little feed he has of the followers. You don't see it. It's hidden to the camera's lens, which you all find odd. I don't know how they do that, but that's the marking we're looking for.
Looks odd.
They will do whatever it takes to find the key. So I was currently on my way. Nick kind of stands up and kind of walks over and towards the monitors. He's like, I was on my way to San Diego, which apparently from one of the followers was able to tell me is where they were all headed next. Because apparently they may have a line as to a way of figuring out who the child is, how to find him.
Interesting.
So that's where I will be heading next, which I guess we all are heading that way, Mr. Catsby, and Evan kind of gives a little nod. Yeah, they'll be helping you in any way they can, any shape or form. It's the least, because we're all working towards the same goal here. So he's like, Nick, let's sit down. I'd like these guys to fill you in on what we discussed over the phone briefly last night. And Nick kind of goes, okay. And you can see Evan starting to type furiously. So you guys want to fill Nick in on everything that you told Evan last night? Like everything about what happened at Century City, what happened at the mall, the dreams.
Yeah,
So you guys like spend like a good half an hour or so filling both of them in now again as to what you guys have been through. The dreams, the Man in Black, what the Man in Black told you about Legion, and about Walter Flagg. So you guys fill them all in. You fill Nick in, and Nick he sits back and he kind of relaxes a little bit as he's kind of listening. You can see he's at attention. He's listening to like everything because he's trying to get an understanding as well, because he knows that's going to be all of yours next task, or at least his, is the sense you're getting.
Right.
So he's looking to study it, and Evan kind of looks over. He goes, "What was that precinct again you guys were talking about?"
Precinct. What was the precinct?
13?
Shit.
17?
13's close. Evan's. You can see.
13.
Was it 12? Evan goes.
Yeah, it was precinct 12. I think. Yeah,
St.
precinct
Louis,
12.
right? As he's typing it in.
Yeah.
And you guys are seeing he's in actually, Mr. Catsby, as he's typing, he's in an FBI database. He's right inside the database of the FBI. As he's pulling up, he goes, here we go.
Is that legal?
And he kind of looks and excuse me. Catsby kind of looks over at you, Bert, and he goes, I made some powerful friends, so I can get into what I need.
And I look at him and I say, what?
And he turns his head back to front, and so he pulls up the very same feed that you guys saw 2 nights ago. And so Evan plays it, and you all watch, and you watch as the person you know as Krieger approaches an officer who's outside the building. He kills that officer, assumes his appearance.
I'll let them know that name, by the way.
What's up?
I said I'll let them know that's his name. Krieger.
And you point out to both, and that's who Mr. Flagg called is Krieger.
Yeah.
Referred to. And Evan goes, and Nick kind of goes, where's the weapon?
You'll see.
Okay, and you can see like they're all like both of them are kind of watching this. You can see that Krieger takes the appearance of the officer and walks towards the front doors. You see Walter Flagg and some other unknown assailant next to Flagg both walk in. The assailant, the man next to him, is already in a police uniform. Walter is not in a police uniform. And Walter kind of sits down at one of the like a bench. It's like a waiting bench, and Krieger and the unknown associate both walk to the door, and they exchange a couple words with the officer, and the officer lets them in, and Walter kind of follows those both of those guys in. You can't really tell the conversation that was had from the view that's on the CCTV feed. You see that Krieger starts walking down one of the hallways. The other man walks down the other. Both go in different directions, and Mr. Flagg finds another seat in the hallway and just kind of sits back and just casually is waiting. You see Krieger then goes to one of the interrogation rooms. He opens the door and talks to the officer and shuts the door, and you watch as one of his arms transforms into a blade, and he puts the sword right to the back of the man's neck all the way out to the front. Relinquishes the blade, or the arm, from him, and then he walks towards this young girl that's probably in her early 20s. You see as he just slices her throat. She drops, puts her hands like on the throat, and she kind of looks at Krieger. He just kind of just stares at her a little bit, then he looks away, kind of throws her down to the ground. He walks out. He kind of like, his arm does a weird mutation, and it turns back to a human arm. You don't see the blood. And he walks down a little further to a different interrogation room. And he does the same thing. He opens the door. He kills both the officers. There's two in there talking to the young man, who appears probably in his mid-20s. He kills both the officers in a couple seconds at best. He grabs the man.
Yeah.
The man tries to make a scream. He grabs him. He actually lifts the kid up with one hand and plunges. He turns his other arm back into the blade and plunges it right through the man's chest. The man's stature kind of droops, and that's it. And then he just pulls out of it, and the man's body smacks and hits the floor. He then walks out, and you hear someone say, "What was that?" And Krieger looks over as one of the officers, like, "Hey, is everything all right in there?" And Krieger cuts the man, just decapitates him. And you hear a gunshot go off, and you see now that several of the officers have responded, like they heard the thud of the body of the young man's body hitting the floor. And you're seeing officers are trying to grab onto Krieger and try to take him down. So you're watching that go on, and you hear gunshots in a different part of the precinct. And Evan's kind of playing with the keyboard a little bit, and you see that the unknown assailant, you guys don't know who it is. You see him, and currently is shooting and killing several of the officers inside a different area of the precinct. He's in a hectic gunfight with a couple other officers. So you have any idea who he pauses it, and you kind of look at the man. Any idea who this guy is?
No, we got no clue yet.
Interesting. Okay, and he plays it on, and he goes back to Krieger, and you see Krieger takes down two officers at once, and just kills both of them. And you see several officers now rushing out of offices, out of cubicles, weapons drawn. And he kind of just looks around at the hallway. There's like 7 or 8 officers looking at him, all guns drawn, all yelling commands, and he just looks down, and both of his arms both transform into blades. And he starts to walk fast towards the line of them, and they all start shooting. You're watching as the bullets are hitting. They are going through him. He is being shot, but it's not phasing him. He's not making anything. No sound. You can see that you see like the holes in his body. You see a little blood drip. Not phasing him. You watch as he just tears them apart as he's making his way back towards the front of the precinct. And then you also see on a different freeze cam that the other man, the unknown assailant, the third man, is walking his way. He throws like a belt full of grenades into the big area he was in, and then he kind of disappears off the cam, and he reappears next to Mr. Flagg. And you see Krieger is walking down the hallway, and Walter stands up and says, "Good work, boys." and the two officers that are at the very front start to gum forward towards Krieger and the unknown associate, who both have their weapons drawn, and Krieger still got his blades out. And you see Walter kind of approaches them, and one of them pulls out a gun. You see Walter grabs him, pulls his arm back. You can see that he's broke his arm with one grab and one twist, and he grabs and he slams that first officer against the wall. The second guy, before he can react, Walter kicks his left knee in. You can see his leg buckles, and Walter face palms him, and the man kind of slumps, falls back on the floor. Like, should have just stayed in that room. This wouldn't have been a problem. He's like, all right, message has been sent. Let's go. They walk back out the front door and disappear off the cam, leaving behind an aftermath, a bloody massacre at that. And Evan goes and he looks and he's like, you guys want to know how bad that precinct got hurt there?
Bad enough to make the hall look like it does.
He goes, yeah, 13 dead, 10 seriously wounded. You know how old this is, Nick? It's like, it's 10 years. Oh, it's a little over 10 years now. Never caught him.
Lana just like looks in shock and sits back in her chair.
Nothing. How does every law enforcement agency in the country not able to find the men responsible for this? He goes, Walter is a very, very interesting man. He said, we were doing a little digging last night, and he goes, I couldn't find anything, but I think I got a line on somebody that can. And he calls, and you guys see like an intercom kind of pop up from the middle of the table. And you guys hear a phone start to ring. And a man picks up, hello? Mr. Banning, how are we doing today? And he goes, Mr. Catsby, I wasn't expecting hearing from you, especially this early. He's like, I got a favor to ask. He's like, I know you've been digging into what I've been asking for. He's like, anything you can tell us? He's like, I got Nick and a few other associates here. He goes, yes. He's like, I started that film last night. Did not look nothing I've ever seen before. Makes all of us. So what can you find on Walter Flagg? I would like somebody to roll me 2 d20s, or a check with advantage of a +6.
Alrighty. Let me do that.
Let me type my database here and see what I can dig up.
Cleeflax later. Hey!
What the heck? Man, you're blessed.
Hey, I lied. It's 2 natural 20s.
And you kind of see like Evan hits a couple more buttons on the keyboard, then all of a sudden you see like a shared screen of whoever the voice is on the other end. He goes, Walter Flagg. Okay. So I got a little bit of something. Guy was born New Jersey, 1978. And he's kind of like pulling up some documents. Like, all right, hold on, let me make sure this is him first. And he pulls up an image. He pulls it up and places it like on a screen so you all can see. And he goes, that him? Pulls it up on one of the monitors so you all can see. Delete that. That him?
Looks like him. Looks pretty accurate.
Walter Flagg is an interesting character. Looks like he's got some. Looks like yeah, he's got supposed mob ties. A long time ago, it looks like. His younger kid looks like he got looks like he did a bunch of work for one of the Russian mafias up in New Jersey for a long time. He disappeared about, what was it now? What was this, 10 years ago? Yeah, 10 years ago, and he hasn't been found since. Evan goes, 10 years? That's all you can dig up? He goes, yeah. He's got some supposed ties to some crimes, but no one could ever get anything to prove it on him many years ago.
Alright.
Does anybody know the motivation for that slaughter?
Evan kind of stands up. Evan kind of looks over and he goes, "Well, from what the man in black told you, they were witnesses to a brutal murdering, a brutal slaying of several people inside of an apartment complex, and apparently they claim to be the only survivors of that massacre, and had called the authorities to get there. But by the time the authorities had got there, the assailants were gone. Some of the assailants were claimed to have skull-faced masks on their face. They did not see the man you referred to as Krieger or the other unknown associate, but apparently Walter was there. So the witnesses claimed, but there was nothing on the crime scene that details Walter being there. But the skull-faced men had the same masks, wore the same masks, and had the same exact facial features of the skull as the ones you guys saw, and the bodies of the men that were killed at Century City. Where you said the man in black had killed 3 of them as he made his appearance in the atrium. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's right.
That's all he can tell you? That's all the man in black said, huh? Nothing he can give you? Anything concrete?
No, he's more trying to look for him himself, to be honest with you. Very vengeance-filled, from what I could tell.
Vengeance-filled, huh? Kind of all 3.
Yeah.
Nick, Evan, and the man on the phone all say at the same time. Really? Evan goes,
Yeah,
kind of sits back and
long history, apparently, with Walter. He says he really wants revenge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so odd, because a man that does not want to be found makes himself known enough to speak to you in person. Nick, how long have we been tracking him? And Nick kind of goes, yeah, what, about 6, 7 months, right? He goes, yeah. Evan goes, yeah, that's about right. We've never been able to find him, or at least gotten as close as you all have.
Yeah, I guess a man that blends in the shadows, he's a little bit hard to find. But yeah, that's all we know.
And you can see that he goes, Mr. Manning. Guy on the other end of the phone goes, yeah. Well, pull up the files for Century City for me, please. Goes, yep. Give me a second. You're typing on a keyboard. He pulls up the police files and all the case reports. He goes, what are you looking for? Mr. Gatsby. Evan kind of sits back. He looks. He goes, was there anything that Walter had said as to why he was being there? As you guys are seeing like pictures of the crime scene now, the aftermath. Anything do you all stand out? Is there any reason why he was there that night?
Not that I know of.
Anything he said? Because I know you guys said he was doing a lot of speaking and addressing mass as a whole.
He was talking about, a lot of us, or from what I know, have had some really good potential, he said. I think that's all he said. But
Potential.
And I think he mentioned that this wasn't the only time that this would be our occurrence of him.
Come again, Lana? And Evan kind of turns in your direction.
I remember briefly. I think if there was the time of the dream, or this was the actual time that we saw. I could have sworn he said that this wouldn't be the last time.
Wouldn't be the last time. Bert, Glitch, Evan, Mr. Casby addressed you too. Anything you guys remember?
About the video.
Anything Walter has said to you the first day? Kind of go back a little bit, you guys, to the mall incident. Do you remember anything that he said that kind of stood out as the reason why he was here? Why he decided to choose the mall's 55th anniversary as like his first display of, I don't know, first public display, I guess we'll say.
I just remember pretty much froze time. Yeah, and it was real theatrical. Yeah, up on the,
Yeah, he was very theatrical. He wasn't.
yeah, shoe fits. But as far as anything particularly incriminating, I mean, we got him on video. Yeah.
Interesting. What is Walter's goal? And you said the Man in Black had told you
Didn't you tell us it was ultimate power from some sort of ancient portal?
that's Edric King,
Hmm.
but both it looks like you said the Man in Black had big plans for the world.
Yeah, he had really big. That's what we meant by theatrical. Like he felt like he wanted to show the world a show. Really, kind of weird.
Interesting.
Not sure what his goals are.
Mr. Banning, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. Start researching everything in Walter Flagg's life, his ties with the Russian mob. Start going back in his life a little bit. See if there's anything that stands out to you. I will call you in the next few hours. I will make some phone calls on my end, see if I can find anything about this man. But apparently he's a ghost, a supposed Russian mafia guy member. That's all we got right now. The guy on the other end kind of goes, "Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Catsby. Let me make a couple. Let me do a little more findings on my end, see if I can think of anything else on him." And what did you say the group was again? His followers?
The Legion.
Legion. Okay, the Legion.
Yeah.
He goes, "All right, I'll call you. I'll call you in a couple hours, Evan." He goes, "Thank you, Mr. Banning." Hits a button, the intercom turns off, and he goes, "All right. Well, Mr. Banning and I will start doing some research on Mr. Flagg and the Legion. Since there's nothing we can go on right now that's going to help us point them into that direction, best we can do right now is let's deal with the Chosen first. I would like you guys to help us with that," as he kind of points towards Nick.
Of course, that was the that was the deal.
Yeah, as the arrangement, I thank you.
Yeah.
Evan kind of sits down with you guys again. He goes, "I know this is a lot to take in. I know I can tell by the expressions that there's a lot that you don't understand. And this is a lot to throw at you. And unfortunately for you guys, this is the side of the world that I don't want ever to see. I don't want people to be affected by those that have the dreams of wanting to obtain or unleash those supernatural horrors and unspeakable things to others, like these people have done, like Mr. Flagg, like Mr. King have done." He goes, "As I'm sure you know, I've been hit personally, and been personally seen firsthand what all that adds up to. I don't want others to see that same fate. And right now, our goal is to find the key and to prevent Edric from getting the key, and then stopping him one way or the other. So, I will be shipping you guys out towards San Diego, correct, Mr. Bauer?" And Nick kind of nods and goes, "Yeah." That's the man that I had spoken to had told me. As he kind of stands up and stretches a little bit. So, he's like, "I guess our plan is now, let's get you guys to San Diego and let's see what you guys can figure out and start trying to see if there's any way we can track the Chosen. And start trying to figure out the key, whoever the child is. just know that they are in immediate danger, and any family members of theirs is also in just the same danger.
Right.
The Chosen are ruthless. They are brutal. They are very violent. They will get through whoever they have to get through to reach their ultimate goal. So I have some options for you guys as a means of residency during your stay. And he kind of starts he goes back to the computer and he pulls up some possible locations. You guys see a couple of houses, you're seeing some storefronts, you're seeing a warehouse, he's like, all these places here I got able for you guys to make as like a temporary base of operations. Where would you guys like to stay during the job in San Diego? And he kind of opens the floor. Nick goes, wherever you guys want. We're not going to be there that often, but having a place that we all can meet and go over what we found, prepare for whatever we have to do. And Evan kind of opens the floor and he goes, "What are you guys thinking?" As you guys are seeing like a few different houses. There's like a bunch of different places you guys could choose as like a base of operations.
I think a warehouse will make us feel more at home.
I lean towards towards the warehouse. Just seems more discreet.
Okay. Evan kind of looks at Nick. Nick just kind of nods in agreement, and Evan looks towards you, Bert.
Warehouse. Yeah. Real low key. Yeah.
Okay. Glitch, you got anything? Did he step away again? Okay.
Oh man.
Always steps away. Well, I'm just gonna say majority rule.
Yeah, that works.
We'll go majority rule. Warehouse.
Majority rule.
Okay. Evan goes back to the main computers and types in a couple of things here, and he goes, "How about this as your stay?" I gotta pull it up. Gotta find it. Give me a second. How far back do I gotta dig up to find that plan? Hold on. Hang in there with me, gang. I gotta dig it up again.
Gotcha.
No worries.
Yeah, I gotta dig through the other group actually. There we go. Excuse me. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Does this suit your needs?
Hold on. Why can't I? There we go.
Is this loading up? Is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. Just scale it up a little. Let me move this out of the way.
That'll work.
It's got what you need. Decent office space. Got some rooms on the balcony upstairs. Several offices, meeting room, small kitchen. You guys will have what you need.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. This warehouse, he kind of he writes the address down, hands it to Nick, and he goes, "Whatever you guys need for your operation, let me know." I got a lot of lines on anything you guys could need for handling the Chosen and Mr. King.
Right.
And he goes, "Like to hand you guys these," and he kind of hands you all each a phone. And he goes, "Use these from now on." He says, "Hand me your old ones."
Look.
He kind of goes around collecting your guys' old phones. You see him kind of place them on the table, and they kind of just disappear. He goes, "You don't need those anymore."
Got it.
Are you sure?
You won't need them. These
I'm-
ones will
I'm-
give you better.
I'm not
You'll be safer with these
convinced.
phones than with those. And you watch as your phones just disappear.
Hmm.
Just gone. Blink of an eye. Not there on the table.
Whack.
Oh, sorry. I know you're not used to that yet.
Not really.
Yeah, I know that you guys have probably a lot of questions. I don't have all the answers. I can only give you some because it takes you a long time to get used to this. But I can promise you one day you'll look at it as normal. I can tell you that for sure. Took me a long time, but here I still stand. Here Nick stands. Wish you all good luck and good hunting. Nick, is your Jeep's upstairs, right? He goes, yep, parked right outside. You guys gotta take a stop at the, can I make a stop at your, I need to stop at my storage unit before we hit the road.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'll make sure I'll call my buddy down there, make sure you guys got everything you need. If you need anything, you guys can let me know and I got a direct line. Evan goes, good hunting. I will see you all soon, I'm sure.
Alright.
And
See you soon.
He walks himself up the long staircase back up. You watch as the bookcase opens as you all are kind of walking in a big line. And you guys are back at the front. You guys are back in the family room of the estate. All six of you kind of huddle up here and not quite how I had envisioned it. That's okay. Alright. Who's this? Out of the way. Cool. Nick kind of looks over and he looks at all of you and goes, anything you guys need to do before we head out? It's a long drive from here.
I am going to use the bathroom because if it's a long drive, I don't want to have to use the bathroom while we're on the road.
I actually prefer to do the same thing. I asked for a bath.
Hell
Yeah.
There is actually a bathroom. Nick goes right here. Stands in there and he points. There's one there, and there is one, go back to the main staircase, go behind it. There's a hallway, and there's another bathroom right there.
I mean, I'm not gonna take super long. I'm just, gonna use the bathroom, wash my hands, and then yeah, we're good.
Okay. Are you gonna wait for him, Lana, or do you want to go find the other one?
I'm gonna go find the other one.
You got a tour of the house, so you do know it's over here.
Very good.
Over here, with my hand.
Oh shoot, I'm just getting lost. I don't know where to go.
Right
Okay, there.
You found it. Yeah, you got a good tour of the house. You saw the staff kind of walking by. Some of the maids and the butlers had said hello to you as they were doing various things.
I softly just say hi and then wave a little bit. Kind of just like duck my head and try to focus on getting to.
You guys watch as Evan walks his way out into the hallway, and he kind of just walks down. You don't know where he goes. Just kind of just heads away. Nick is patiently waiting for. Nick says, "I'll wait for you guys by the front door."
Alright.
All right, party. What do you got left? Anything you got to do?
Mm.
Just gonna go. I'm good to go. I'm just gonna go by the front door.
Yep, so I'm good to go.
All right. All right, you all
Get
ready?
off me, Jameson.
Yep, let's go.
All right. Anything you guys need to go before, or anything to get before we leave town? It's gonna be a long drive.
No, better start early. Or better start now.
Actually, yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
We're good.
Yep.
He kind of looks at you a little closely. Sure.
Positive.
Got it. Hop on in. I'm driving.
Understood. hop in.
You guys all pile into his. He's got like a little older model Jeep. It's probably like an early 2000s or so. It's a nice looking one. It's a dark. It's like a midnight blue color. As y'all
Huh.
pile into it, and he pulls spins the car around, goes out the front gate. Gate opens. Gate closes. And you guys are slowly making your way. San Diego.
Type. Seems that we should Uber past it.
What's up,
We
Glitch?
should see if we can get on past this distance.
What? You good, Glitch?
Oh, yep.
Okay. So for brevity's sake, I'm just gonna move it forward a little while. You guys make the trek to drive to San Diego. It's not too bad. It gets a little trafficy in spots because it's middle of the day on a Wednesday or a Thursday, whatever it may be. I think it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, so you're getting some usual traffic. People are starting to move out or starting to go towards LA, San Diego, the beaches for the weekend. You guys make it to the warehouse in pretty decent time. Nick kind of pulls you guys to the front of the building, and he goes, "I'm gonna go grab the keys." As he kind of steps out of the vehicle and he goes to the mailbox and the keys to open up the front door. He grabs them and kind of holds them out so you guys can see that he's got them. Okay, so let's park around the side. How's that? There's a side entrance too. He's like, I'm gonna go. We'll just
Yeah, that works.
We'll just park our vehicle here in case we need it, in case of emergency.
Got it.
All right. Nick's gonna lead you guys to the front door. Who wants to follow? How are you guys gonna follow? What's the order here?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Oh, one thing I did forget to add. You did see Nick did go to some storage space. He kind of left you guys in the car for a few minutes. He went and opened up a locker, went in, disappeared for like 10 minutes or so. He came back with a couple duffel bags.
Right.
Out, shut the unit, locked it. And he goes, "Anyone want to help me carry the bags in?"
Yeah, I got some.
Okay.
How many bags are there?
There's 4. Nick grabs 2.
4. Yeah, I'll grab 2.
Glitch, you guys are gonna follow him behind.
Yeah.
Okay. Nick
I'm gonna
opens,
stick with the group for now.
okay. Nick opens the door. He hits a couple switches. Come on in. Not bad. You kind of all like step in about the same time. Nick's kind of taking like a visual scan of the building, of the layout. Kind of starts walking around. I've been a lot worse spaces. This'll do.
Likewise.
He goes, "The stairway's over there." As he's kind of pointing.
Gotcha.
So if you guys look right here,
Mm-hmm.
that's your staircase. That goes right to here. It'll take you up to an upper balcony that kind of like overlays over here the middle area. And there's a little hallway. So right above like this, that line there, that's the upper floor, which is on this side of the map. So this is an office or an abandoned office, another office, and here's like a small mini room, like a staff room. There's like a refrigerator and a sink and some small things like that.
We can probably start sleeping in the offices. Some of us can make home in the offices, while some of us make home down on the ground floor.
Okay. I'm alright with that. We also got other. Nick kind of yells out as you guys are kind of like. I'm assuming all of you are kind of walking around the perimeter.
Yeah, we're like just looking around.
Poking your head around.
Yeah.
Nick goes another
Make
break
sure
room
nothing
down
pops
here. He kind of walks in.
Gotcha.
You look and he kind of steps in. Walks back out. He's like, "Yep." So we got 2 of them. We got a small one upstairs and a bigger one down here.
Nice.
He goes here. He kind of grabs he kind of puts the bags down. He goes over to like this. So like a folded. There's a couple of tables, and he pulls out a table. He unfolds it and sets it up, and he puts the bags down. He goes, Glitch.
Yes.
What do you need for us to get you started with some to being able to do any research or any type of computer stuff? What do you need here for us to get you online?
I'm gonna need a wall outlet with 3 prongs. And, of course, my equipment. Most of which I've left behind. And, or at least something close that I can make do. But the most important part, of course, is my computer.
Okay. We can arrange for you to get us some sort of computers. We can get you something in here. It's not gonna be your stuff, obviously, but we can definitely get you some computers and stuff. Is there anything else you'll need besides the computer?
Got some computers. Let's see. I'm gonna need some Cheetos, some other nice snack.
I look at Glitch and go, like, I think he meant equipment, dude.
Well,
You can argue Cheetos are equipment.
I don't see
I just look up her, like, and shake my head slowly.
You guys are kind of walking all towards the same spot now as you guys are talking. He goes, well, I got computers on a list. He's got like a piece of paper in his hand. He's got a pen. He's writing it down.
What about something like a ham radio?
He goes, I could probably get us some radios.
Yeah.
radios be nice.
Okay.
Way better than the phone I'm paying for.
Well,
No, you don't like a ham radio or like a CB radio. Yeah.
He kind of like scratches his neck. He goes, I get us something better than the ham radio. And he kind of points to the bags. He goes, how are any of you trained in firearms?
raise my hand.
Ex-military.
Oh, really? What branch?
Army. I'm sorry. I'm going too well versed in the military. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's all right. I served for the Stars and Stripes for a long time. What about you?
Oh, infantry. Sorry.
That's Army. Army's infantry.
Wait, there's certain isn't there certain branches though? There's IT, there's infantry, and then there's a couple like doctor,
In the
nursing
military
stuff.
service, Alana would know. There's like I guess just to kind of inform you, there's many different branches. Like you could be labeled as infantry. There's all sorts of like jobs inside. There's mechanics. There's your IT guys, your corpsmen, which is like your medics. That's what they call them. There's all kinds of different job titles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you were infantry, correct? You were a mechanic.
Yeah.
And yeah. So you had you specialized eventually into a mechanic, but you were a basic grunt at the start. What
Okay,
helped you
cool.
with
Yeah.
with you becoming a mechanic in the Army was your background and experience with cars before you enlisted.
Yeah. Okay.
There goes, yeah. I was served in the Navy for a long time.
Maybe, huh?
He
See
kind of like pulls the sleeve up a little bit on this jacket that he took off, and you see a Navy SEALs tattoo on his left arm, on his left bicep.
I nod and I just kind of give my respect in silence, just looking at that, giving a good long look at the tattoo, and then back at him.
4 tours, all across the Middle East. I've had my time. Shall we? As he kind of like pulls over there, he opens up the bags and he starts laying out a variety, like a little start point. Like you guys have seen a few different handguns. He pulls out. He pulls out 2 shotguns and 1 rifle. He goes, "For those of you that can shoot these, come over and take a look at what we got." As he's unpacking the duffel bags.
Let me see what the fuck's going on.
Bert, you walk over and you see Nick is pulling out several different types of handguns, a couple different types of handguns, a few long guns. You see him pull out 2 different shotguns. You're looking at him and you're looking like, okay, you don't really know like what's the difference between the two, but
Has he got an M16?
he does have some sort of M16 looking rifle. It's definitely a lot different though as he pulls out this M4.
How about an M14?
No. He goes, M14, huh?
Hmm.
He goes, this is all I can get in a quick window. But don't worry, we're gonna need more than just this.
Right.
But so take your pick. I'd say you only need the handguns for now. Leave the long guns here.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna pick up the M4.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Nick looks at you, grab it. He goes, "Go ahead." It's empty.
Oh, I don't fucking wait for his permission. I just grab the gun, and really I'm just kind of like bouncing it up and down in my hands real quick, and
The weight feels good.
yeah, I just look down the sights next.
It's
Really
got
just
a,
to satisfy my own curiosity, and then I just set it back down.
like you're doing like some little tinkering with it. It's got
Oh
a
shit, I
holographic sight.
disconnected.
Oh, you did? I see 2 of you are about to. Oh,
Yeah, I disconnected too.
server shit.
I didn't.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Mine crashed too, actually.
Did you?
Oh, my game closed. Okay, no, my game's good. The server crashed. We lost connection to the server, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, everyone in global is typing rip.
Oh, their servers went out. Okay. I guess we'll just kind of role play it a little bit here. We're gonna be ending here shortly.
All right.
Very 10.
So you feel the weapon out. It's got a foregrip on it. It has like a holographic sight. What you wouldn't really know what that is. So you're looking at there's like a box looking optic.
Well,
On it?
I would know what a holographic sight is.
Okay. So it's got a nice scope on it. It's got some attachments to it. It's a really nice M4. It's empty because you're playing with it. Because he goes, it's empty. So he's like, do what you want to do. Get
I look
acclimated
at him
with
and
it.
I go, oh no.
Kind of gives a nod and he grabs one of the handguns off the table. He's starting to load the magazines for it. And he loads it and he kind of puts it in puts it behind him. Puts his shirt over it. Anything you guys need? As he kind of looks to.
Yeah, what kind of handguns do they have?
You take a look. You see a couple of different. You see a couple of Glocks, Glock 17s. You see a Beretta M9 on the table.
Up to the Beretta.
Okay. He hands you the magazine. He hands you 2 magazines and a couple boxes of 9mm. Kind of lays them all in the same place.
Appreciate it.
Kind of gives a nod and he goes, "Lana, what do you want?" Don't have lots.
Night vision goggles.
Ooh.
Hey, you gotta scope the place if you have to come out here at night.
That's pro.
Alright, that's an interesting need. Okay. Sure. I'll put that on the list here. Anything for you, Jameson, that you need that's...
Shoot. I could use a couple bottles of alcohol and some cloths.
Oh, that we can just pick up at a general store. Sure.
Exactly.
Bird, anything you need?
Anything cheap.
I fold my arms and I go.
Okay. So, we got a small laundry list here. I'm going to add a few things to it. I think we should decide if there's any reinforcing, any set of traps that we want to set for any...
I would think if this guy is just handing out like mil-spec equipment, Jameson, you could probably pick up like some real explosives.
I probably could, huh?
Yeah.
I probably could.
He'll probably give you a fucking white phosphorus container if you ask for it.
Probably.
He goes computer stuff.
Gotta keep it simple.
Yeah. Unassuming.
You
See,
guys,
Jameson's a good old boy. He's an old school anarchist.
oh, absolutely. Come on now, you haven't got that vibe yet?
Actually,
I think we should definitely have this place set in case, let's say, the chosen realize where we are and they decide to. I think we should be ready in case we have any unwanted guests.
yeah, some couple bells and whistles, a couple traps,
Radars,
radar.
sensors.
Maybe get us some. Yeah, I could. You'd be surprised what Mr. Catsby can get his hands on. He hasn't failed to. Hasn't been able to give me not what I need. When I need it.
Lana just smiles and goes, "Surprise me."
Depends what you need, I guess. See what he can do. What are we thinking here? Maybe some cameras, set up some video cameras, have like a little central setup as well.
Get
Yeah,
some
that sounds
cameras
good.
outside.
Put some cameras around
Yeah.
the perimeter, different directions.
How's the outside look? Is it like fenced in, or is it
It's solid concrete warehouse. It looks like
solid
it was a
concrete?
big storage warehouse when it was in use.
Mm.
Now it's a few years probably like out of being I guess you wouldn't say abandoned, but essentially it's what it is right now. But
It has like fences leading
it's not
inside
fenced
or
in, it's
going
not
to
fenced
it.
in. It's on you're in a big industrial park.
Ah, okay, I got you.
You're in a very big industrial park with a lot of different warehouses and like various like
Yo,
assembly factories and shit like that. But there's people in and out of here. A lot of like workers of some extent are here.
Gotcha.
But you're getting the sense like this place may not be like abandoned per se, but it's definitely not like in its use as it used to be anymore. But it's still in great shape. There are
Yeah.
windows that you can see. Like there's not any windows immediately on the ground floor except like by the entrance, the little entrance way that you went through. But there's windows like that kind of let the sunlight in on the top part of the building, so sunlight seeps in. But there's no like immediate windows for you guys to see out.
Gotcha.
But now, like in the break room, there's a window you can see out, and the offices on the second floor all have windows that you can see outside. But you're looking up like the ceiling. Like the ceiling it's probably like 50, 60 feet tall, probably, give or take. Where the
Is there
warehouse is, yeah.
is there any like ladders outside of the warehouse that you can like get up to the top with, like to the very top?
I will say that you guys can you can do like a lock around when you guys are kind of getting unsettled. Yeah, there's a ladder that can take you to the roof.
All right.
And he goes, "Oh, by the way, there is a skylight that we can use to get to the roof." And he kind of like points. He's always you go up. He kind of shows you guys where it is. You guys go up the stairs and right by the little break room. Like there's like a little utility closet you open up. There's like a little room. It's a ladder that goes to the roof. You know, in case of emergency, you got the roof access here. But the ladder's over on the other side. He kind of points on the other side of the building. The ladder to get down's over there on the side where we parked the Jeep. You may not be able to make it to that roof, so you're not going to be able to make it to that ladder. It may not be safe. Your best bet's to run across the roof and try to get to the other warehouses and scale rooftop to rooftop. If anything gets out of hand, you may not be able to get to the grounds via the usual exits. Maybe we'll have some measures in place so we can at least escape if this place gets bad, or if we have to move. We'll have ways out of here. Because we're definitely gonna need some more firepower, because these people also have access to some nice fancy toys, so we gotta be prepared.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you guys have some interesting needs, we'll use this first. We'll use the rest of today to get we'll get this place set up nice and running, so then we can start our work tomorrow. How's that sound? We'll use the day to get all the supplies we need and prepare, and then we get started.
Sounds like a plan. In that car for a long time.
Right, get your stretches in. We'll unwind and we'll get started. And that is where we will pick up next week.